This is GabNet, the great American broadcast network. Talk like you've never heard it before. GabNet's creator and founder, Alex Bennett, is always looking for ways to stay on the cutting edge. He first revolutionized commercial radio. He built a career on being one of the first to speak to the new generation of the 60s. Then he reinvented himself on morning drive radio, where he was the first to use a live studio audience and guest comedians each morning. Another ratings winner. Next, Alex took off for outer space as he brought his unique perspective on politics and news to the satellites. Always a pioneer, his next stop was to create a unique format that no one else had ever done, with citizen panels on the internet. What's next? Is there any place left to innovate? Are there any stones left unturned? Introducing GabNet Live on Roku. That's right, GabNet Live on Roku. No lies, because you can't lie on the internet. GabNet is now available on your TV. You can listen to GabNet's 24/7 network stream or browse your favorite GabNet shows from the archives, just like on Gabnet.net. But that's not all. You can also watch video of Alex's archived live stream TV programs, as well as his televised Friday Night Ramble. It's all there for you, and all you have to do is turn on your Roku device, search the Roku store for GabNet Live, and add the channel to your lineup. Then sit back and enjoy. It's GabNet Live on Roku. Thanks, Alex. What makes GabNet talk like you've never heard before? Well, it's the citizen panel concept. Our talk hosts talk to a whole group of people at the same time. Want to be a citizen panel member and add to the conversation? It's simple. First, download Skype. Answer 4 simple questions during the install. You know, your personal stuff. First name, last name, email address, and most importantly, the ID you want us to know you by. Then, from Add Contacts on Skype, enter GabNet Live. Become a contact, and you're ready to go. Now, if you're a Luddite and you hate computers, you could use the telephone, just like Grandma had back in the day. Call 347-352-0079 to connect via voice. Don't be shy. It's fun and addictive. Now, the last time I did this promo, I said if you don't call, I'd kill my dog. Of course, I was kidding, but then I accidentally killed him. So, to replace Fluffy, I got this cuddly pussycat. And now, if you don't call, I'll kill this cat. Don't worry, Sylvester. I won't let them hurt you. I'm not kidding. Call now or Sylvester gets it. Again?
In a day and time when the powers that be want to put people in neat little boxes. In a day and time when those same powers want to control what you know, believe, and even talk about. Here at GabNet, along comes a program dedicated to the free flow of thought and information. Dedicated to the idea that not all closed doors are locked, and not every shut eye is asleep. GabNet, home of the great American broadcast, presents The Intersection, the program for free thought, free minds, and free speech.
This is Jack Bishop. Join me and Amy Manuel Tuesday through Fridays at 12 midnight Eastern, 11 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Western for The Intersection, only on GabNet.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the great American broadcast network.
Joe the creep who runs this show. There he is. Hi, how are you? Welcome. Here I am with my red Muggo Joe. I am, what am I doing tonight? Sergeant Dickinson's? Is it Sergeant Dixon's or Dickinson's or Mr. Dickinson's or whatever? It's Pete's. I love their Pete's Big Bang. I don't know if you've ever tried Pete's Big Bang, but if you haven't had a chance to, you really should. I mean, it is terrific. It is really good. Anyway, we're just going to talk with you tonight, about one thing or another. I got a whole bunch of items. I did a little prep here. I did prep. Oh boy, it's unusual. I'm feeling so today. I'll tell you. I got to tell you. I often gripe about about doing this job and what it entails, and all the stuff that I have to do to make it work. Because nobody else does it. Most of the people here, they do their shows, and I'm sure they prepare for them and so on, but they just do their shows, and that's it. I, on the other hand, have to post the shows. I have to keep the website going. I have to do all kinds of things. And in the process of that, you really want to feel that every inch of it is worth it, that you're not wasting your time. Now, I come from a place where we all, when you went on the air and if you had a decent-sized morning show like I did in San Francisco, as an example, I had maybe 20,000, 25,000 people listening to me every single morning, okay? So that was radio. And by the way, there weren't any other diversions. You didn't really have the internet. You didn't have podcasts. That wasn't invented till I invented it years later. I invented podcasts, folks. I'm not bragging here. It's the absolute truth. And why I haven't sued somebody up until now, I have no idea. I and another guy, let me put it this way. I was out of work. And I needed to do something to kind of keep the show going, okay? So I created a thing called, I did a daily show, and you would come, how do we do it? You went to my website. I had a website, and you went to the website, and then you clicked on this thing, and you could hear the show, okay? And it was a very simple thing. Well, that was a podcast, and I don't know that there were very many other people doing it in that way. At least perhaps there were some other people doing broadcasts, as it were, as they thought it to be. But I was doing a daily show that was it, because I didn't have a job. And I had this friend. He was like he was a techie. He was a guy who could write code and write programs and so on. And he came to me one day and he said, "Here, put this on your computer." I said, "Okay, what is it?" He says, "It's a program I made just for you." I said, "What's it called?" He says, "Auto Alex." I said, "Auto Alex?" He says, "Yeah, what we do is we put this on your site and then people download it and then they put it on their computer." I said, "So what does Auto Alex do?" And it says, "Every day it will check to see if there's a new episode of your show, and if there is, it will download it onto their computer automatically so that when they come home, there's your show." I said, "That's a great idea." So we put that into action. What does that sound like to you? Okay? Now, we didn't call it podcasting. We didn't call it, because that was what Apple came up with to call it. But what do you do with iTunes? You go and you ask for a show, and every day if there's a new one, it's delivered to your computer, right? So, yes, we did the first podcast. We kind of invented podcasting, and I don't know that anybody else was doing what we were doing, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious here. If I didn't, I wouldn't say it, but I'd like a little respect and somebody to say, "Hey, did you know that Alex Bennett actually started podcasting?" But no, I won't. I won't get that from people. So anyway, there were a few other things I was first doing too, but some of them I don't want to lay claim to. But anyway, so how did I get into that? All about podcasting. Oh yeah, so doing a podcast here is something that I've been doing for, well, I guess since about, if I were to reckon it correctly, I would say 1997. Okay, all right. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But I don't know how many people, there's no way of telling how many people listen to my little podcast or how many people had their machines downloaded, because we didn't get those kind of statistics in those days. It's very hard to get them. Nobody created analytics because there wasn't really any need for it. So you just hope that people were listening. And if nothing more, I did it because even if nobody was listening to it, I knew that I was doing something. I wasn't working. I didn't have a job. So this gave me a chance to ply my craft absent a job. So that was that whole deal. So now years pass, and of course I then went to CNET for a while, and I stopped doing the podcasting thing. We did at Play Incorporated do the first internet television broadcast every day. That was for sure. And I'm trying to remember when exactly we did start doing the first podcast. I think it was after I lost my job. It had to be. Yeah, it had to be. Well, it might have been a little earlier than that, because I was fired 3 years earlier, a year and a half earlier, and I did do some stuff online. I think at that point, I don't know if we came up with it. I'd have to go back. I'd have to find the guy. He lives here in New York, and find out what year we actually did that in. It may be earlier than 1997. But anyway, so then I got a job at CNET, so I stopped doing the little podcast thing. And then I was out of work there after a year, and I just kind of worried about where I was going to go, and I decided to come to New York, and I got the job at Sirius, and I did nine years and change there. And as soon as I was no longer working, what was the first natural thing for me to say I'd do? A podcast. Okay, because that's what all out-of-work broadcasters do. They get a podcast. I mean, the internet is littered with ex-talk show hosts. It is littered with former broadcasters, but they're going to the internet. Oh, yeah, and that's the next big thing. And then, of course, you get here and you realize you can't figure out a way to monetize it. You try, but you really can't. It's a hand-to-mouth existence. So you don't, and what you find when you come to it, and it's a great disappointment for a normal over-the-air broadcaster, is that what you have isn't the same thing you had before. You don't have that 20,000 people. Now you say, well, gee, some people have millions of people. Well, they're giving, here's how you make a living on the internet. You come up with something that's short, like 7 minutes, okay? Like makeup tips, okay? Something that is easy for people to absorb, and they can do it quickly, and they can do it on their way to work or, sitting at home, and it doesn't ask too much of them. And those people on YouTube, for instance, get 1 million hits. If you get 1 million plays on anything on YouTube, you'll make $2,000. That's what I saw as a statistic. You get $2,000. Do not pass go. Do not collect $2,000. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. So you can make money off of it, but you've got to be like 14 and giving makeup tips. If you're Alex Bennett, you're lucky if you've got 3 people listening, right? I mean, I have a handful of people now. How many do I have? Oh, okay. Well, it's okay. It's all right. It's doing all right. For me. So I stopped doing. What happened is there's an advantage and a disadvantage. Let me take a little side trip here. There's an advantage and a disadvantage to doing YouTube. And there's an advantage and a disadvantage to doing Facebook Live. And finally, balancing the two together, I decided that I would give YouTube Live a try, which of course you're all watching this on right now. And it looks, I'm sure, better to you than it did when it was over at Facebook Live, because it is a cleaner picture. Metrics-wise, their picture is a better picture on YouTube. The negative to it is that when I do something on Facebook Live, every time I do something on Facebook Live, it goes on people's news feed. Alex Bennett is now live. And I had like 5,000 people who were following me on Facebook, which was the maximum. So that all those 5,000 people on their news feed probably got a message that I was live. And that drove them over to watch it, which gave me, at the end of the night, fairly decent numbers, not huge numbers. If I told you what they were, they're nothing in comparison to what I used to get on radio, but they were high enough. Now I go over to YouTube, okay? And YouTube, I only have like 403 subscribers, and now I think I have more now. We've upped it a bit here, finally. Because I went online and I said, would you please subscribe? By the way, there's a button probably somewhere when you're watching this, maybe not, I hope there is, that says subscribe. Or you can just go, after the show's over, go and on YouTube and search for Alex Bennett. When you get to that Alex Bennett page, there is a subscribe button. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. What happens when you subscribe is every time I'm on the air, you get an email saying that I'm on the air. And that's the way they tell it. But you see, it's the difference between the 5,000 people who all get it on their news feed and the 450, 460, I don't know what we're up to now, who will get a little email when I'm on the air. So I want, and also if I get 1,000 subscribers, I can do a lot of different things. I can monetize this in certain ways. I can do all kinds of things. So it's very important that you subscribe, because if we can get up to 1,000, we get super chat, and there was something else that I got too, that it's some kind of monetization thing that would start maybe even paying a little bit of money. I have no idea. But we need 1,000 subscribers. It's a long way away, and I doubt if we're going to get it. Well, anyway, so I beseech you to subscribe. Go to all your friends, send a tweet around, send Facebook messages around saying, go over there and sign up for Alex Bennett's YouTube, because that will help us. If we get up to 1,000, it will put us into a territory that's, you know, that will get us some stuff out of YouTube. Anyway, forget that part of it. You know, I'm happy. I got what, 26 people right now, you know, watching the video. Maybe we don't know. But then after the show is over, I look at the number of people, and where before I could sometimes get upwards to like 500 people in a 2-hour period, and all of a sudden I'm seeing 103. Because it's a whole different metric here at YouTube. And so the question is, do I then go back to Facebook? But if I go back to Facebook Live, I don't get certain advantages. I'll tell you the advantages I've got. Number one, you can take this page and you can tack it to your browser, so that every time you bring up your browser, one of the pages is this page. And anytime we're on, it just suddenly will start playing the video. And also I can put this, if you don't want to see this on YouTube pages, you can go over to gabnet.net, okay, which is our web page, and right there is the video playing. In fact, if you go over there right now, gabnet.net, you'll see this video playing there. So these are the advantages of YouTube. They technically outweigh anything over at Facebook Live. They're just kind of like a rinky-dink organization by comparison. These guys know all about video and about allowing you to embed that video and so on. So I can put it on gabnet.net, or you can then you can just you know, go to if you go to facebook.com/Bolo Bennett /live, boom, you're on the page that also will play it. So what am I trying to say here? Oh, please, I'm begging you, subscribe. Yeah. So then I go and I look, and this gets to be the depressing part. I go over to see what kind of viewership we're getting on gabnet.net. So I go over and I plug in all the stuff and I look at the statistics, and I don't know. It's like in the month of January, we had the lowest month we've ever had. We lost about 2/3 of the amount of people that go over to gabnet.net, and I'm scratching my head trying to figure this one out. Some of the other numbers are high enough. How many people watch a certain, they don't necessarily go to the website, but they do listen to the streams, whether it's on YouTube. You can go, rather not YouTube, on iTunes. You can go to it there. So we have a lot of other metrics there, and those numbers they're okay. You know, they're not that off from what they were. Okay, but that overall number of people going to the website was down precipitously. And I'm trying to figure out why. And a number of things happen at the website. Number one, you used to go to the website and you could automatically hear the audio. I could put that back on, but what happened was I paid $189 for 3 years or a year, or how many years? I don't know how many years, 3 years, something like that, to get a secure site. And so when you have a secure site, that means that when people come to you and they want to do things with credit cards or anything like that, it's secure for them. Also, you're not subject to a warning from Google on Chrome saying, hey, this is a not trusted site or whatever. So I decided to do it. But what I had to give up for that was that automatic 24/7 feed, because the 24/7 feed was coming from a non-secure site, okay? And so when you played it on my site, if it played automatically, it automatically killed the security clearance that I got. So, you know, why should I even have the security clearance if every time you come to my page it disappears? So I had to get rid of that. I replaced it with TuneIn. And you can play TuneIn, and I don't know if you lose the security doing that. But anyway, what below it, there's a thing saying, you know, for Netscape, and no, for Netscape, what am I saying? For Safari users and others, click here, and you'll go to you get a little button, you get a little page up the top of your page if you're using, well, if you're using Safari or you're using Chrome, that has the audio. And that isn't secure, but the rest of the site remains secure. So that's how that works. But since people don't come to it and automatically get the audio, they probably, a lot of them stopped coming just for the audio, because there's so many other ways. They could go to my Facebook page as an example and get all the information they needed. They could go there and get all the links to videos and blah, 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 and they can even get the videos which are there. So, and then yesterday, every night after the show, for you people who still want to go to my Facebook page, I post the show. And the night before, it got about 100 viewers, okay, and that's good. That's why it's there. Yesterday, it got like 17, 18 viewers. And I'm going, what is happening here? And then last night, the last couple of nights, about the last 3 or 4 nights, Citizen Panel has been sparse. And I'm going, what has happened here? Am I doing something wrong? Should I just give up the ghost? I mean, are people just suddenly sick of what I'm doing and what we are doing here at Gabnet? And I just can't believe that would happen overnight. But I don't know why we haven't been, you know, why we've been having to beg for callers. Because usually, and this was even in January when it said we didn't have large numbers, I was getting, you know, a full, what we call a full house, and many times a royal flush, which is like 10 people plus me. So I just don't know, and I'm sitting here with just scratching my head, although I haven't scratched my head, so that I'll do it just so you could, you know, see that I scratched my head if you're watching us. If you're listening to us, this doesn't even matter to you. What are people writing, by the way, here? It's a done deal last year that YouTube and Google cut ad payments to its creation. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. I don't expect I would ever make the kind of numbers where I would make the kind of money that some people are making. But that one girl I told you about, you know, with the makeup tips, the 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 100 million hits. So she must be making some money. Did Sirius pay you real money like analog radio? Well, yes. Well, not me. I made much more in analog radio because I made a lot of money for the radio stations. At Sirius, you didn't have a negotiating power because they don't know how many people are listening to it. They really don't. They know how many subscribers they have, but they don't know how many people are listening to it at any given moment, and they don't know what they're listening to. They are. Wait a minute, what is this? All of a sudden, I couldn't find real money like now on radio. What? How did Siri suddenly decide that I was saying something? Don't listen in, Siri. You're a Budinsky. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so so you really don't have a negotiating power at Sirius unless you're a star, unless you got a name, and they drool over names because they think they can do broadcasting. So but they can't really, not really well. Listen to Jenny McCarthy sometime. You'll see what I mean. Anyway, so the point I'm making here is that Forbin, it did not pay as well. Let's see, 448 subscribers. Urge people to hit the bell for instant notification when you go live. Hit the bell for instant notification when we go live. Where is that? I don't know about that. Alex, you are at 448 subscribers. Right. 2 more and we'll be at 450. Well, the race is on. We're going to try and do it. Let's see here. Alex Bennett created Phil Meyer. Yeah, that's correct. Forbin says play TV. Yeah, you remember that. Let me see here. Any more things anybody's writing? No, just Tom Yamaguchi writes, saying Sirius much of... Oh, that was it. I said Siri. I said Sirius. No, it isn't going now, but you're probably right, Tom. You're probably absolutely right. But anyway, so these numbers get me really dismayed and make me wonder if I'm just playing to like 5 people and they're having a good time and I'm duping myself into believing that I'm still in the business when I'm really not. And so that kind of depression then leads to the feeling of, I think maybe I should close Gabnet down. I mean, what? But then I went, I've paid for the name for the next 3 years. Also the security clearance too, that thing, So I don't know. I just keep saying I should just stop doing it. And girlfriend said, if you stop doing it, you'll die. You need to have this. And but it is humiliating to not being able to have the kind of audience that I'm used to having. I have to admit that at one full felt swoop, we get more people watching on YouTube than we did over by about a third, maybe double what we used to get at Facebook Live. But at the end of the night, it's not as high. It's just. Anyway, so I'm, number 1, subscribe, and number 2, call as part of the citizen panel, will you? Because if this continues where we don't get callers, I will seriously consider pulling the plug on this whole deal, or at least pulling the plug on this show. But I've made a bold choice by going to YouTube, and it's I hope it is a what do you call it? A strategic choice I've made that will, be worthwhile. Okay, so that's what the whole thing is about. Anyway, I've opened the lines. If anybody has noticed, I doubt if they have noticed, but I have opened the lines, and you can call if you want to on Skype. You go over, if you want to find out how to do that, go over to gabnet.net. Don't worry, you won't miss the show. You'll see it there as well. And just look over on the right-hand side, and it tells you all the things about Skype and how to get Skype and where you're going to get Skype and who's going to give you Skype. And you know, and then we'll sit here and wait and see if we can get any amount of people calling us tonight. Because if this continues like this, as I say, I'm gonna pull the goddamn plug. In fact, if I don't get callers fast, I'm gonna pull the plug. I just go in the other room and watch all my shows. So anyway, so I'm sitting here waiting. The lines are open. There's no Phil. There's no Scott. There's no who else? So I'm sitting here. Jeff is calling now. I notice he just went online. That I can tell. Okay, so if it's Jeff and I, it's Jeff and I. Yeah. Jeff's an intelligent man. I can have a good discussion with him. I'll bet he'll be there. He is. See? Oh no, there's Scott Boddicker. What do you know? Scott Boddicker is the first one out of the box, as it were. Oops, there he is. There. Okay, what are you doing? You're moving around. Now you're frozen. There you are. Okay, yeah. Are people using your bandwidth tonight as well?
Maybe.
Maybe. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to get this.
I shut the YouTube off. I can't figure out how to shut the YouTube off.
Wait a minute. I got to get. There we go. Now you got to shut the YouTube off.
Yeah. I watch on YouTube and then I get to go.
Isn't that picture terrific on YouTube?
It's a lot better than the Skype. I know that.
Yeah. It really looks good. That's why I'm happy with it. You know. I'm just not happy with the fact that I think a lot of people don't know where I am yet. So it'll take a little bit of time to figure that one out. Hello, Jeff. Hello, Phil.
Hey.
Hey. Thank you. You're all here. At least you make me feel good at the beginning of the show. Let's see if we can add to these numbers. Tony's probably not talking to me today.
Uh-oh. Why, he send you another picture of his dog or something?
He didn't just send me a picture of his dog.
Yeah.
He put the picture on my Facebook page. Not as a message. Not as a message. Even though the other day, when he sent me a message with a picture of the dog, I said, no fucking dog pictures. And then today he put the picture on my Facebook page, and I just wrote him. And I began to wonder if it was the right Tony Magno, but I wrote him and I said, do not, I repeat, do not send any more pictures of your fucking dog. You know, he sent me a picture and said, Pebbles, or whatever the name of this dog is.
Coco.
Huh?
One's Coco and the other one, I don't know, I forgot the new one's name.
I don't know. I hope he doesn't call to tell us, okay? You know, but he will. He will. We'll find out. Bree is calling from Dubai. Let's see if he can catch the line. Hello, Bree. Are you there? He's going to have to try again, I guess. But anyway, so I wrote. You know, come on, don't. To begin with, hi, Bree. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Good. Bree is calling from Dubai in case you need to know. It's on a need to know basis. So anyway, Tony probably is probably pissed at me for saying, you know, don't put any pictures of your fucking dog on here. But I use that page to promote stuff, and when you put a giant picture, it wasn't just a small little tiny picture, it was a giant picture on the page. Everything below it, nobody pays attention to. All they see is this fucking dog, and they go, what a mutt, and leave. You know, it's not even a dog doing something cute like kitties, you know?
You know, I don't let anybody post to my thing because my mother always had a comment to make no matter what somebody posted. So just to keep her, I had to block her. But
you had to block your mother?
I blocked my mother. She doesn't know it, but she just figures I'm not active.
Boy, I wonder what Freud would have said about that.
And so Tony kept putting things on Messenger. He'd send me pictures of cereal boxes, pictures of the dog sleeping in the bed, pictures, but not just one or two, 30. And, you know, like a machine gun. And it took a while till I could figure out how to turn off the sound on notification.
Yeah.
And but before I did that, it was like a machine gun going off during the day when he was posting stuff because he was bored being in his warehouse. So instead of working for what he gets paid to do, he was sending emojis, and I'd had enough, so I blocked them.
Emojis, and, by the way, in case people don't know, emojis are not those little ice creams you buy in the stores,
Yeah. Well, anyway, I blocked him for a few months, and then I unblocked him, and he's been a good boy ever since.
Ever since, yeah. Well, I just don't want to see that fucking dog. I don't care. To you, your dog is the cutest thing in the world, and I love that. We have a cat that we love, okay? Yeah. And I've got to tell you, we have maybe in our iPhones 200 pictures of this kitty. And that's in addition to the pictures that the people who own the kitty send us every now and then. But I only put one of them because it was just a great shot on my site.
Right. Well, take the 200 pictures, make one of those little photo movie loops, and stick it up on GabNet where you can just punch one of the buttons and get all cat all day.
You know what I found out? There is a limit to how long you can go on Facebook Live. I think it's 4 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe it's 2. I don't know. 2 or 4. Do you know what it is on Facebook on YouTube?
No.
There's no limit. I could go on and keep this thing on 24/7 for the next.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do a marathon, right?
I have a 24-hour.
Well, but Alex,
you get subscribers. We'll broadcast it all over the internet.
Yes, Bree.
Well, you send this show out in so many different ways that you fragment your own numbers. I mean, you were talking about like not having numbers, but I always download on Podcast Addict and I listen on TuneIn.
Yeah.
You don't have any way to notice that, do you?
TuneIn, I can tell if somebody goes on TuneIn, I can tell he's using the stream. So I can tell that. I believe occasionally I've tested. I've turned on TuneIn on my TV set, for instance, and then I came in here to see if the number went up by 1, and it did. But there is some question as to how much of a reaction we get. Oh boy, we got a problem here. Whoever's calling me. Let me take this, folks, just for a second. Let me see. Who is this calling? Oh, Ray.
Ray.
Ray,
hey,
call directly to GabNet Live. Do not call on a previous group.
Sorry, I'm gonna hang up.
Yeah. Why don't you hang up and I'll call you right back? How's that? All right.
Yep.
I'll hang up on him and then I will. Let me see here. Well, wait a minute. He's going to have to call me back, I guess. What the fuck? Ha ha. Ho ho ho. Here we go. Here's Ray Renati. Let me see here if I can add him. Let me see here. I can't add him. Ray, you're going to have to call me back. Call me back. Call me. Okay. Let me see here. All right. That's a problem. I don't know why I can't do it to you, Ray, but everybody else I can do it to. So, anyway, let me go back to resuming the call with these people. Resume call.
Again,
there we go. There we go. You guys were talking.
You
guys were talking to each other while I was talking to Ray Renati. Ray, call us again, but use GabNet Live. There we go. Add to group. There we go. Here comes Ray Renati. All right.
That worked?
Yeah, that worked. That's the way you do it. If you go back and use a previous discussion that we did or a conference group we did, then you can't get on here. It just brings up the other one. And also turn on your camera so we can see you.
Oh.
You never know.
There we go.
You're always looking for parts and people can see what you look like, Anyway, and I don't know if Bree wants to turn on his camera or not. Sometimes it's too early in the morning there, and he's in these like pajamas or whatever.
Yeah, it's too early.
Yeah. Now this is getting to be more like it. This is a citizens panel, folks. Okay.
Well, and Alex, you have to give it some time to get there. I mean, you open up the phones, and within 30 seconds, you're complaining.
You know, when I first when I first started doing this, though, how fast were the citizen panels formed? I usually got all 9 in the first 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
But the novelty has worn off. Oh, here comes Renee. So what we've got here, folks, if you look carefully, Ray, you're calling from where? California, right?
Yeah.
And so is Phil. Then we got in Connecticut, we've got Jeff Stein, okay? And then in Texas, Scott Boddicker. Then in Dubai, we've got Bree. And then we've got Renee in Hawaii if she'll just turn on her camera, you know, and we can see her.
I'm trying. And the big deal is A, I'm on my iPad, but B, there's a whale over there.
Well, how's that affecting your? How's that?
She's having a whale.
How's that affecting your band? How's that affecting your bandwidth?
Blocking the
Whales
signal.
take up a ton of bandwidth.
Yeah, but if you can't turn on the iPad camera, then it doesn't do us a lot of good. What?
I'm looking for it. See, it has the little camera logo. Does that work?
There we go. There we go. There we go. Now we got your. Oh! There we go. There we go.
To see the sunset line when the sun is coming down.
Yeah, but you got to.
No, you're too high,
You got to frame it better. Move it down. There you go.
That's good.
Oh
The
boy.
whale is right over there on the right-hand side.
On the right-hand side is a whale.
Well, it was. Whales kind of don't stay put.
I've been told
that's where
that.
it was.
If they don't move, they die, I think, don't they?
I think so too.
Yeah.
They're eating a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I went whale watching in Monterey Bay in October, and it's amazing. There was hundreds of whales out there, and you can tell when they eat. There's a smell when they eat all those sardines in one swoop.
Whale farts.
Ooh.
Whale fart, exactly.
Whale farts are the worst.
And I was in an inflatable boat that had like 6 people in it, and I'm 2 feet from the water and 10 feet from the whales.
Yeah.
And it was great. But you could tell.
Yeah.
Each whale had a certain amount of breath that it would take before it would dive down, and then you'd get a fluke shot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
It turns out killer whales can mimic people like a parrot.
I heard that the other day. I heard a bunch of whales saying hello, and they all had different voices.
I heard
Yeah,
that
they
too.
can say Amy and bye-bye.
Yeah.
Really? Well, I didn't know that. Now I've been told something I don't know. Well,
I heard one whale was like hello, and then another whale in the same pod had a really deep voice. It was like hello.
Very cool. Were these in captivity? These were whale orcas in captivity, or?
Yeah, I don't know if they were in. I think so. Yeah, they must have been. Yeah.
Well, that's going to put a lot of actors out of work for animated films. They can just use the real animals.
Yeah.
Not
The only
anymore.
problem is Trump isn't going to kill. He will kill off all of them at this particular point. So.
Do you think he's going to kill
Yeah, I
off all
think
the
the
whales?
cougars are extinct now in Pennsylvania.
They're not extinct here in New York. They still go out with young guys.
Miami.
So it's
There's
Did
plenty
you hear
of
about the
Miami
polar
Beach.
bears?
what?
Did you hear about the polar bears?
What about the polar bears?
Well,
They're
it was
white.
on Yeah, go ahead.
Well, somebody tell me about the polar bears. Well, I know their penises are getting smaller. That I do know about the polar bears.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
on
How do
NPR,
you know that
there was-
firsthand?
you can't blame your problem on global warming, though, Phil. Anyway,
No, I blame it on an expanding waistline.
yeah. Boy, you know what looked really nice? Because this is what we call in photography the magic light.
Magic hour.
Yeah.
Magic hour.
Well, I heard it called the magic light. Okay.
Yeah.
And what
this
it
is Emmy award-winning guy, the magic light. No, it's the magic hour.
No, it's the magic
it's
hour
the golden
for.
hour. Actually,
It's the magic hour for still photographers, for motion picture
No,
photographers.
golden hour.
It's the magic light. And what it is when the light is when the sun is going down and it kind of casts. Hold the camera steady there, so I can show what I'm saying. It causes a certain look to everything. It's the best time of day. It's the best time of day to shoot.
It's
very
a golden
warm.
glow.
Yeah.
You either get that at night or you get it at first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
as the sun's coming up.
Yeah.
It's only like 15 minutes each time, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Now, how much? Let me ask you this, Renee. How much of that land do you own?
Well, you see the white fence there, right?
Yeah.
Go over this way to that hill over there, and you see that tall tree over there, and then the
Yeah.
little one over there. That's mine.
Really?
And then it goes behind us, and then it comes to the driveway's right here, so it's not
Yeah.
like it's that big.
So
It's only 5.
but you could put another. You could put another house on that property, couldn't you?
I can, right over there on that point that I'll show you in a second. The
Yeah.
reason I'm bringing you over here is because if we're like remotely lucky.
Yeah. Let me enlarge the picture. Hello to Patrick. Wait a minute. Let me enlarge the picture so people can see that. And now, because we've got this beautiful, gorgeous video that we get with YouTube. Look how gorgeous, folks. Hold it still so we can.
You need a steady cam.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so number one, the clouds are in the way, but that's where all the telescopes are. Where the clouds are.
Where the clouds are. That's where all
Yeah,
the. Yeah.
Palm trees in the past there's 5 telescopes up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'll walk you back around. Sorry.
Okay. So you're going to walk us back around because I've got you full screen here so that they're seeing, they see the strip of everybody.
In about 5 minutes, when that sun goes down over the water, that's when you'll get the golden hour.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'll see the palm trees kind of pop.
And the sun's just coming up here.
Will pop.
The sun is just coming up there?
Well, that works too. So you can get the golden hour, and Renee can get the golden hour at the same time.
See the.
Now you're freezing because I think you got to get back into Wi-Fi. Okay, so you're going to point somewhere, right?
Yeah, see that tree right there?
Okay. Yeah.
That other hill is mine.
Okay, so you could basically put another house right there, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep.
I read something about those 5-acre lots. I thought that they were limited to one house per 5 acre, and those were the lots that were allowed to use the country club. Mm-hmm. And then when people would rent them out as Airbnb, the country club had a big to do and didn't want to let them use it. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yeah. Get the sun a little more towards the top of the picture because that way we can, because I've got all the.
It takes a little while.
I know you're freezing a little bit because you're losing your Wi-Fi. Oh, there's the white fence. We see it down there. See that, folks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you see the gully right here?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Right here.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The trouble is that when you're out there, you're losing a bandwidth a lot. And look at that sunset. Look at that. Now, just everybody gasp. Okay.
Wow. Hey, Renee, is that fence a Trump design?
The asshole. Asshole.
Yeah. You got the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a big island?
It is the big island.
Yeah, I think I know where this is. I was just over there a little while ago.
Oh, great! So you were on my island? That's
great. Yeah.
Where were you most of the time? Did you go see the volcano?
Yeah, we went up there. We went. We were staying at the gigantic Hilton. The one that has like 8 buildings taking up like 3 miles. It was like one of those. What do you call it? When they try to sell you the membership.
Let me add Rob Alfano to the group. There we go.
I didn't buy one, but we got.
There's Rob. I got Rob beside the.
There.
Look
at
that.
Better?
Yeah, that looks great. Yeah.
Now, just everybody say we need a whale to show up because this is where they show up.
Yeah.
Whale.
Yeah.
You need a
telephone lens. Airbnb is like cut into timeshares.
Yeah, I've got Rob right next to her now, so we've got the picture a little smaller, and so people can get a better idea of the whole picture. Hello, Rob.
Hey there. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you? How's everybody?
Fine. Yeah. Have you checked out our YouTube feed?
Not tonight. I haven't.
Yeah. Did you check it out last night?
No.
Oh, well, you should check it out. It looks phenomenal.
Is it happening right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. No, it's this is live on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
If you go to the Gabnet page, Ray,
Yeah.
it'll be a live feed there.
Go to gabnet.net and the live feed is there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's what? Oh, listen to the birds.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is awfully nice. This is awfully nice. Well, let's start discussing some stuff. Let me start bringing people back in here. There's a little Jeff, and there's a little
Well,
Scott.
so I got something to discuss.
Okay, there's Bree, there's Ray, there's Patrick, and make me smaller here. And let me see here. Let me also do one other thing here. Yeah, you got something, Bree? What do you got for us?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard of this. There's a film called I went to see called Padmavat. Padmavat.
Is that the
Yeah,
film
have you
about
heard of it?
Is that the film about Islam?
Not really. It's Hindu. It's coming out of Bollywood with Deepika Padukone, and a lot of people are very upset about it in India. It gets 2 or 3 articles in the paper every day.
Why are people bothered by it? Why are people bothered by it?
Well, it apparently depicts a goddess within the Hindu religion, and her
Vishnu.
No, Padmavat,
Gods.
Rani Padmavati.
Really? Okay.
So you guys haven't heard of it?
No. But then again,
I'm still catching up on the Kama Sutra.
No, but then again, here in the United States, we get more bothered by other things. You know.
Check out the trailer. I thought the cinematography was some of the best I've ever seen.
What's it called? What's it called?
Padmavat. Padmaavt.
Padmavat. And is there an English language version of it? Oh, look at that.
Subtitled.
Hold on a second.
The photo's beautiful.
I just had to take a breath because that photograph, that video of her that she's got in Hawaii is just breathtaking.
Hey, Alex, what do you think about Hawaii now?
Well,
it's going to get prettier in about 3 or 4 minutes when the sun gets a little lower through the clouds.
Yeah. Alex had some very definite views about Hawaii.
Well, it's just things like ukuleles and what do you call it? The steel guitar. You know that boing boing boing.
They're actually very nice.
Huh?
They're very nice. They're relaxing.
Yeah, sure they are.
Ukuleles aren't.
It sounds like a sound effect of something like losing a hamstring or something in a cartoon.
It's Don Ho.
Boing.
I miss Don Ho.
Boing.
Tiny bubbles in my wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all over with.
Yeah, it's sung to us by a real professional.
And we're a bunch of guys, Renee, and we're all bothered by a hoe dying. So, you know. Hey, Patrick, how you doing?
I'm doing just dandy.
You know, you're looking good in YouTube. YouTube is just sensational.
I think Patrick is the best camera. Look at that.
Yeah.
Can I
Super
make a suggestion, Alex?
Yes.
When you used to use Facebook Live,
Yeah.
it would notification immediately that you were going to go live.
Yeah.
There's jack shit that happens now that you're on YouTube.
Well, if you have
to know that. So unless you manually put out every night, I'm going to be on YouTube. People won't know it.
Well, there is a notification that you can get on YouTube, and I'm going to ask my friend Matt how he does it, because when he goes live on YouTube at no specific time, and you just get this notification, Matt Granger is now live on YouTube.
Right, yeah. But I'm saying to do it so it works on Facebook as well.
Well, I don't know if you subscribe to me on Facebook on YouTube. But if you subscribe to me, you will get an email telling you I'm on.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's one form of notification. I don't know about the other notification.
I'm a subscriber for my friend's thing, so I don't know. Maybe that's how I'm getting it.
Oh, I now have 451 subscribers. We got 3 people so far tonight. So anyway, but no, I know that that's one of the drawbacks, Patrick. But I got to tell you, the video is superb, and it never goes.
You could manually just before you go on the air, just put out a notification on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah, I do, but it doesn't go out the same way. See, with the notification on Facebook it went to all the 5,000 people and it wound up on your news feed, right? Yeah, and that doesn't happen here. But supposedly there is an email that goes out to everybody saying I'm live right now. But that can be annoying too, because many times I would go and test Facebook Live as an example. And all 5,000 people would see on their thing, hey, Alex is live. And I'm not. I was just testing something, And they go over there and, it's me and naked trying to fix something.
Could you test it on a different page?
No.
No.
The machine knows where your IP address is, so you need somebody who's not near you.
Yeah. So anyway, there are positives and there are negatives, and we're still getting through them. I mean, I may go back to Facebook Live, but looking at this picture every night and how nice it comes up on gabnet.net, I gotta just say, hey, this really beats what I had before. It's just a matter of getting the word out. That's all, and how we get the word out.
Thing about Patrick, why don't you take the New Year's Eve countdown where the numbers come across your screen and put it on the Gabnet site saying that you're about to go live in 3, 2, 1.
Well, we actually do have that on the Gabnet page. Right under this video is a timer that's counting down till we're on the air with the video, and it says that. And then when we're finally on live, it says Gabnet is now live. So but you're saying on Facebook, I can't do that. They have no provision for that.
Okay.
So I don't think they would love anybody promoting YouTube. But I do. If you go to the page right now, there's a link there to talks exactly how to do it and all of that. And by the way, we've got a lot of people watching us right now, more than we've ever had on Facebook, by at least double. Okay, so I'm not unhappy with that.
So where were the usual suspects yesterday and the day before?
Well, they have lives, I guess. I've heard that, right? Rob, you've got a life, right? Beyond this?
I try.
Oh, by the way, I've got to send you some new scripts because I got to change that whole thing about going to our website and what's there, because it's all changed.
Oh.
Would you mind doing another one? Just the voice. You can do the voice, and I'll add the music.
Has somebody got some wind?
Yeah, I think she does.
Me.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That picture makes me want to smoke a cigar right now.
What's the temperature there, Renee?
So I'm just wearing a dress. It's hot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It didn't get below 70 last night, so everybody on the island's cranky because nobody got any sleep.
Yeah. And by the way, if you may listen, Rob did a new imager for us that says celebrating 4 years for Gabnet, because we just turned 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah. And also send me the audio only on that, would you? So I can just add some music to it and do a whole bunch of them.
I'll do that now while I'm
Yeah.
Are you talking about this Gabnet graphic that has all the moving stars and stuff?
That's the graphic up above. Down below is the video.
Oh, right. Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
may I interrupt with a cat problem? See, you were yelling about Tony and Pebbles.
Yeah.
Animals sell merchandise, but I would like to take you just somewhere for 2 seconds and show you what my problem is, because my cats keep bringing in those.
What are those?
Oh my gosh!
Is that a dead mouse?
Yes.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that.
Oh, please! They get 3 a day.
I know that you yell at the cat, and all the cat is thinking, but I got it for you. But and you're also living in Hawaii. There are a lot of mice out there.
Oh my God! But they bring it inside.
No, because they're bringing it to show it to you. They're not bringing it in because they're trying to give it shelter. You know.
But that's the problem.
Phil?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just my unit or if it's anyone else's, but it says the video's unavailable on Gabnet Live, even though it says Gabnet is now live underneath it.
Oh, okay. Well, then why don't you refresh the page?
I did. I'll try to get.
Who's coming over here to clean up the damn mouse?
Get a vacuum.
Oh, they don't go up. No. So I could hear them do that vacuum suck.
Yeah. Only if they're still alive.
I'm not having any problem. I'm not having any problem with that video on Gabnet Live. So
okay,
mine's working.
Yeah, and his is working. Yeah. Did you just?
That's fine. It may have just been mine.
Did you refresh?
I'm turning it off and then turning it back on.
Why don't you just refresh?
Because when I refresh, sometimes it doesn't change.
Oh well, okay. Well, anyway, let's talk about some things here. Let me see here. First of all, have you heard the latest? They're making a big deal out of about Natalie Wood's death. And
that's because there's a new West Side Story movie coming out, and this is a way to publicize it.
No. It turns out that CBS is doing a 48 hours or something on the story, that there's more and more evidence to lead people to believe that somehow Robert Wagner had something to do with it.
That's what they said when it first happened, and then they got off of that trip. I remember years ago. They
But they now supposedly have more proof. The only thing is, maybe they should lay off this story. Just leave it in one place, Renee. Just leave it in one place so it's not jumping around a lot. People are going to get nauseous.
So in a couple minutes, I'm going to let you have your golden hour discussion again, and I'll be able to show you the difference in the bougainvilleas.
No, we're going to golden showers as a discussion.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. No, but anyway, I don't know why they suddenly brought this up about Natalie Wood now. To begin with, do you know how old Robert Wagner is now?
Like 80.
Oh, try 87.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Yeah. Why not just leave it alone? You know?
Because Natalie Wood would be part of the Me Too campaign.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Don't you think Christopher Walken probably knows exactly what happened?
He probably has a good idea. He probably has an idea. Okay, he was on the boat, and so was the guy who was the captain of the boat. He was, what do they call him? The boat driver.
He's a captain.
The captain. The captain. And he, in this interview, said, "Oh yeah, he did it."
No.
Yes. He said they got into a fight and he pushed her. That's what happened.
And they did. Oh, yeah.
Well, and she couldn't swim because she had terrible fear of water. So, but he's 87. Maybe.
But isn't that intent?
Huh?
Isn't that intent?
Well, I mean, they're never going to be able to prove anything at this point. Okay.
If I can't swim and I throw you in the water,
all they can do is that we're living in a day and age where you can accuse somebody of something and usually it sticks. Okay? So he's going to have to go to his grave now having all America going, you killed Natalie Wood. Well, nobody...
What about Chachi?
Nobody says, hey, Kirk Douglas raped Natalie Wood. They never get into that one.
What about Chachi?
Chachi. Well, that one...
What happened to Chachi? He's a Republican.
I don't like Chachi particularly because he is a Republican. But I think maybe he's being had in this deal. What do you think, Patrick? You're nodding your head no.
You don't like him because he's a Republican.
Yeah.
I would just react.
Well, I mean, come on. I got to be consistent.
What did Chachi do?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Supposedly there's this actress that was on Charles in Charge, and she was underage, and he had sex with her. And he says, no, I never had sex with her, and quite frankly, she wasn't of age, I think, when she underage when she did our show. There were a whole bunch of mitigating circumstances in which he's just saying, I just don't understand why this woman is making a big deal out of this now when nothing really went on in the first place.
She wants her 5 minutes.
Well, that's but you see, that's what's happening now. The Me Too movement is turned into the 15 minutes of fame movement. You know, right. and women, you know, these women should hate these women because they're discrediting the Me Too movement.
We don't know that because she can't get a fair trial.
What do you mean she can't get a fair trial? Neither can he. Today, when a guy is accused, Renee, when a guy is accused, he's automatically considered guilty.
Did you see the guy, the mayor of a town in Michigan, something called
Asheville.
Water, like that? What is his name?
I thought it was the mayor in Nashville.
No,
yeah,
it's
a woman was the mayor of Nashville.
You're talking about somebody else. I'm sorry.
An extramarital affair with her security guard.
No.
Oh, did she? And it was she was the one who made him do it. Is he claiming rape?
I think it was mutual.
Oh, okay. So he's not claiming rape.
Well, you see, if he claims rape, nobody will believe him. You see, I mean, no. The point is, this is what I'm saying: is the balance has gotten kind of wacky, where we are not applying the same rules to everybody. That everybody should be considered, and then we should then ferret out the truth from the lies. Instead, somebody accuses a guy in a anonymous tweet, and he gets fired.
This is the Humpty Dumpty syndrome. You know, he sat on the wall, and you want to knock him off. Yeah. And the bigger they are, the harder they fall, the easier it is to accuse.
Yeah.
Boy, Steve Wynn was just a jackass, and you know all of Steve Wynn's stuff is true.
Well, he's a guy in the kind of power that I would imagine he would wield it not flatteringly. You know?
Especially where he is.
He doesn't have Trump money. He has kingmaker money. So... Yeah, so this guy could be an asshole for the rest of his, for 30 years, and nobody's going to challenge him because he's got kingmaker money.
Define Trump money. What is it, a credit card?
No, Trump money is the low billions at all. Okay, wait. All right. So down right-hand side, lower near a tree, we've got some movement.
Yeah, but you see, it's very hard for us to see.
I know, I'm trying.
And I could blow it up and we still wouldn't be able to see it because, the cameras in those, especially in the iPads, are not what they should be.
Alex.
Yeah. Yes.
One of the things I have I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but I'm not a big fan of Rose McGowan now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, she comes out with a book and a TV series.
Yeah.
Really?
But they made money off of her.
How about your friend Wolf getting thrown off MSNBC? How low can you go?
Who got thrown off?
The writer of that Trump book.
Yeah.
He got thrown off MSNBC.
Why?
During an interview, it seems as though
Kurtz.
No, it was
it's whoever the author of Fury and whatever the name of the book.
Yeah.
Fire and Fury.
Fire and Furbies.
His name is Wolf, 2 F's.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he's on the talking to Mika Brzezinski, and he accuses Trump of having an extramarital affair with Nikki Haley. And so anyway, Mika Brzezinski says, "You know what? Just get out of here. You're off the cut to a commercial." And that was
I would probably have gotten rid of him too, because that opens you to legal action. I mean, Nikki Haley has less of a chance of suing than, say, I would if she went after me or he went after me or something like that. But nevertheless, there's a legal ramification there because he's making a statement and now he's not backing it up. He doesn't have proof.
And then he goes on and he tweets that Mika Brzezinski, that Trump was right about Brzezinski, when he called her all of those things, trying to use Trump's accusations against Scarborough and Brzezinski as proof that she was wrong in throwing him off. But it was an interesting day.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to be careful when somebody is making claims like that you distance yourself, and they did due diligence by getting rid of them.
Really fast.
Yeah, but anyway, but you were talking about some mayor, right? What is he accused of doing?
It was the mayor of Nashville, and she had an
no.
extramarital
Renee was talking about some guy who's a mayor.
Yeah, the guy was the head of her security detail.
No, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Megan Berry.
Thank you, Alex. So, Michigan, where Dr. Nasser was, that township where all of the girls went in to tell them that they have been distraught and all of these wonderful things from the camp. The police department in that town is where all those girls had to go, and not one of those little fuckers believed that those girls at all. So today, the mayor got up in front of the television and started bawling his eyes out because he felt bad that he didn't believe any of those girls when they came into the police department.
Renee, was that the Caroli Ranch where they trained?
No, it's the mayor. So I guess the Caroli Ranch is in this place called Watertown.
I'll tell you, Renee, do us a favor and just put that. If you can, put the iPad down so we can get a nice still shot of that, because you're moving around so much that it's not fun to watch. No, we're not going to see the whale. Okay, not with an iPad camera and that far away. Just let us relax.
I see the whale. Oh, wait a minute, that's dust.
Yeah. So he sat there crying about how bad it was that he didn't believe those women, and it was so awful, and he felt so bad. And I'm like, how many women had to go into that police department to tell you that this was a bad man, and you didn't do shit about it?
Right.
And here he is now crying his eyes out. It was disgusting.
What do you think about Hillary Clinton not doing anything?
About?
The Stanford that worked for her?
Yeah. You didn't hear this?
Oh, yeah.
Marco Rubio got rid of
It's all over the news. She, back in 2008, during her campaign, there was a woman on her staff and a man who was harassing this woman, touching her, kissing her, and she came forward, and Hillary basically reassigned her, reassigned her, and him. They sent him off to some course or something like that, but he just kept doing his job. And now she took a lot of heat for that. She didn't take responsibility for it. And then eventually she came out and said the right thing, but it was after like the third try.
By the way, we've been joined. Wait a minute, hold on a second. We've been joined by Johnny Paroulis. Do I pronounce that correctly, Johnny?
Yeah, that's correct.
Paroulis, yeah.
You could call me John.
Oh, okay, John. You just whatever you put up on the screen, that's what I call you. You know.
Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Full house.
A full house. We got a full house. Oh boy, I feel better. And we have the highest number we've ever had on a video show. We have more people watching right now than have ever watched one of our video presentations. How's that?
Just out of curiosity, with the Hillary thing, it sounded like she tried to follow procedure, standard operating procedure. Then
well,
well, wait a minute. To begin with, the question is, how long ago did this happen?
2008.
2008. Okay. We have to start remembering that the way to handle things was different in every different era going back.
I heard an argument.
You mean like Kevin Spacey?
Very easy to understand how Hillary, who supposedly was this beacon or this, she always made a career of standing up for women, has done exactly the opposite. And that goes back to all of the discrediting that she did for all the women.
Yeah.
Bill.
Right.
Yeah.
All of those women, she went out of her way to discredit them.
Yep.
So there's a cogent argument to be made that she is no better than anybody else.
Yep. Yeah. But I don't think she was ever selling herself to be better than anyone else.
Oh yeah.
No. What's she doing?
Wait a minute. Who is?
Yeah.
Who is selling themselves?
Once you do that bit with Bill Clinton and say, I love him, I'm going to stand behind my man. Once you do that, you don't have a whole lot of anything left, really, as far as women on women go.
Opportunistic is why she stayed with him.
You know, and
Exactly.
She would have never been Secretary of Defense if she didn't. She
She
took his pound of.
wouldn't have been a senator either.
Yeah, absolutely. She wouldn't have been a senator.
Well,
if he hadn't been sleeping with those women.
You know, if she had left him, she would have probably wound up having more sympathy as the years went on and went forward than she did by not leaving him. The only positive value of staying with him was as a lesson to the American public that you can work through your problems and keep your family together. Yes, Patrick. Patrick has his hand up.
That's not the answer.
What?
As much as it pains me to give Hillary any credit, I do believe that if she would have left Bill and gotten divorced after he was out of the White House, because I understand she probably wouldn't have wanted to upset Dad, but I do believe on her own merits, she would have been able to become a senator, and she would have possibly become Secretary of State, because I think she had the political feistiness and know-how and the and I think she knew all the right people. I think she could have done it.
I disagree. I think it was Bill Clinton that had the political acumen to get her to where she got. And if it wasn't for him, she'd still be an attorney in some pro bono law firm.
I don't know.
Oh, by the way, side by side now on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, is Bree, who's showing us his picture now from Dubai. He's showing it on a map. And then we have Renee in Hawaii. You know, when I was a kid, there was a show called NBC's Wide Wide World. And they did a big show once where they used the newly minted microwave relay to show both coasts on the same screen at the same time. And we all sat there as it was in black and white and kind of blurry and went, ooh. And now I'm sitting here, just me. I've got Dubai in one frame, and I've got Hawaii in another, and I've got Connecticut, and I've got wherever over the Contra Costa with the Phil, and where are you, Ray, again? You're
Palo Alto.
Palo Alto, and then we've got Patrick in Wisconsin, and we've got John. Where are you again, John?
Marin County.
Heaven, a lot of Californians.
Angels in America.
And Scott Boddicker isn't in his frame, but he's there. He's in Texas, and then Rob Alfano is down in. I always have trouble with Virginia.
I got a question.
Well, I always have a tendency. Oh, there we go. Now we actually have a picture of Dubai. So there's Dubai in one picture, and right there, and there we have Renee in Hawaii. Wow.
Yeah,
I got a question. I have a question.
Wait a minute. John has a question. Yes, John.
Sure.
I see on my screen a picture of like the sky or something. Is that God? I mean, are we interacting with God or something?
Well, God is a special guest tonight on the program. You know, I don't want to offend him. He gets cranky. You know.
That photo is brought to you by the Menehuna.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hawaii. Right?
And if Bree kind of put his camera up a little higher, we probably could see some building that has a high tower or something, right? Somewhere? No? Yeah, see, you can kind of see it there. Kind of looks like you live across the street from a garage, is what it looks like, Bree. Well, oh, here we go. Back to
to the map.
Yeah, back to the map. Anyway,
Alex,
wait a minute. What? Let's not change the subject. This is a good subject.
I was going to change it, but go ahead.
No, what I was just going to say is that how many here, by a show of hands, feel that Hillary Clinton might have won the presidency if she had dumped Bill when she should have?
I might go with that.
Huh? I'd say,
yeah.
Anybody agree or disagree?
I agree with Patrick. I don't think she'd make it to Secretary of State, but she could have done this on her own without that jackass. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think he is a brilliant strategist and is a brilliant politician, and she couldn't have been a dog catcher without him.
Well,
brilliant.
Yes, Patrick's got his hand up. Patrick.
So I don't necessarily disagree with you 100%. The thing is, if she would have stayed married to Bill throughout the presidency and then divorced him, she would have had name recognition. And I think that would have taken her. That's what I was talking about, is if they would have divorced after his second term, she could have become a senator, maybe not Secretary of State, but
her name recognition would have been that of a victim. Nobody wants a victim as a leader. And I don't see it happening.
Right. Boo, hiss. We have a jackass as a leader at the moment, and you think of
you may think that, but nobody wants a victim. And you don't elect somebody to be the leader of the free world because she's a victim.
If she had been running for president, it would have been the senator at that point, because that was the first position she had.
Yeah, that's true.
And from there, if she was successful, maybe move on to other things.
She wasn't that great of a senator, Patrick.
I agree.
Good point.
I'm just saying she could have made it without him. Because
I think she could have
been
been without him. Yeah, I agree.
Well, look, this is all a moot point because we don't know what she would have done without him, and we don't know how it would have played itself out. I do think that it was her great failing that she didn't make some kind of decision back then. Let me see. Who had their hand up first? Rob and then Patrick. Yeah.
So I have a question for I'm drawing a blank. We haven't seen you online in a very long time.
Johnny, I think his name is.
Huh?
Johnny?
Is it Johnny from Marin?
No.
No?
Oh, Ray Renati.
Me? Ray?
Renee.
Me?
Sorry.
Ray.
Oh, Renee.
Renee, with everything that's gone on, you haven't been on this program in a very long time, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on President Oprah?
She's a kingmaker. She's got the money. I don't see why she can't have it if she isn't going to put the effort into it, and she doesn't go after things without putting the effort into it.
Yeah.
So she could easily have it. She's a kingmaker.
But
wouldn't that be the same mistake over again?
Exactly. Are we still in this where we think it's a popularity contest, or do we really believe that people who are in government, you may think they're buffoons because they fight and they don't get anything done, and this whole thing that's going on with the FBI right now, that putting an amateur in there is going to do a better job, somebody with who's been a talk show host or owned a television network or no experience? Really? You want that kind of a person to be?
We've got it now.
But we've seen the failure of that.
No, we knew it was going to be a failure before it happened. With at least Oprah, she's got some sense of some idea of what it's like to be a regular person who had to scrap, who had to get money, who had to work for the money, who had to deal with all of this shit that women have to deal with. She went through all of that. What did Donald Trump do? He said he was from Scandinavia so that he didn't have to rent to black people. That's how close he got to us, is when he rented apartments to us.
But I still ask the question, just because someone can be close to us, does that mean that they have what it takes to hold on to the nuclear codes and to manage foreign policy for this, not only for this country, but for this world? Because we've been, up until now, we've been a leader in the world.
John just had his hand up. Yes, John.
Yeah, haven't we all seen enough of the actions of billionaires?
Right.
I mean, this country is being run by the 1%, by the billionaires.
Yep.
And tell me anything they have really done for working people in this country. We're talking about the Clintons. We're talking about anybody in that class. And they have done shit. They have done shit for working people, for the poor, for students. You get Barack Obama, you have Hillary, you have Trump. It doesn't fucking matter who is in that high office. We're still spending trillions of dollars on idiotic, illegal, stupid foreign wars when we should be spending that money in a big way for alternative energy, for forgiving all student debt. And until somebody comes forward, closest person to come forward and suggest those things was Bernie. I was a Bernie supporter, but that he sold out. He sold his fucking soul. He embraced Hillary, and he crashed and burned the hopes of a lot of young people who are following, ready to support him, and he could have had it. The polls are showing that he could have beaten Trump, but the Democratic Party, led by the fucking Clintons, screwed him. Okay, that's the truth.
Okay,
you guys are talking about Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I want. Hold on, Phil. I want to jump in on that, but first I want Patrick's had his hand up for a while, and I don't want him to lose all feeling to that part of his body.
Well, actually, what John was saying with the millionaires and that, did anybody find it ironic that it was Joe Kennedy who was refuting Trump the other night? I mean, you've got white privilege bitching about white
privilege. You have a good point.
Yeah. And my big thing when Hillary was running, and when the Republicans had 40 candidates when they were running, I didn't want Bush, I didn't want Clinton, and I damn sure don't ever want to see another Kennedy in a presidency, because we don't need the dynasty. And I just found it very ironic that a Kennedy would be, bitching about a Trump. I mean, I laughed.
Yeah. Well, he's obviously not a common person because he doesn't know how to apply lip gloss or chapstick. By the way, you're getting a lot of wind there, Renee.
I know. I should go inside.
Probably you should go inside, but thanks for the wonderful view.
Alex, you got Ray.
Yes, Ray.
Oh, I just wanted to say something about Oprah. So Oprah is a talk show host and an actress, and she's great at both. She's
a producer.
Absolutely. No, I know. She had a magazine. All right, so she had some business ventures as well. Now, that speech that she gave, everybody was oohing and eyeing and wow, wonderful. Well, that was a practiced speech from an actress who knows how to deliver a speech and hit people's hearts. Now, if you go and you go back and read the text of that speech, it was full of racist stuff that was meant to incite people's emotions. She talked about Rosa Parks for no reason whatsoever. She talked about other things, and it was all anti-white stuff. And it doesn't seem like that when you first listen to it, because she's so charismatic and she's an actress and she knows how to deliver the speech, kind of like Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
But go back and listen to it and listen to what she's actually saying. It really scared me. It really bothered me, and I definitely would not want her for president. Now, that said, I think she's an incredible actor. I wish she would take more roles. Every time I see her on the screen, she's amazing. She does an amazing job as a talk show host. She's a great, producer.
And you know acting
of the United States. I just don't buy it.
Well, no. What happens is if you were to make her president of the United States, if you even insinuate that we should even involve ourselves in the notion, I mean, come on, what are we going to do? Make the same mistake again? Exactly. Is it going to be the reality show host versus the talk show host?
Right.
I think it was.
Right, that's how fucking ridiculous our politics
is.
I
think it was Seth MacFarlane in one of his blogs. It said that bodes a dystopian future. That's kind of like the kind of future you went, oh, this is a great parody. We got a talk show host versus a reality show host.
Hey, Orville is a great show, by the way. Seth MacFarlane.
Rocks. It's a great show. It's a great show. Yeah. But and this statement though made a lot of sense. We don't make that mistake again. We made it with Trump, we didn't, but the country made it with Trump. Let's not do it with Oprah. I mean, I would rather have when you talk about. Let me just bring something up, and then I'll go to John next. When we talked about Kennedy, for instance, and that we don't want a royal family. And so why should we vote a Kennedy in? Well, to begin with, there has never been another Kennedy that's a president besides Jack Kennedy. Okay, that's for starters. There have already been 2 Bushes. All right.
Bobby was well on his way.
Bobby was somewhat on his way. We don't know how he would have done. But here's the point I'm trying to make: do we discount somebody because of that. And I don't think we should discount them either. I mean, they may make a good president. You know, we don't know. So don't discount people because of their background that way either. But judge everybody on whether they can do the job or not. And, you know, we know now that we've got a president who clearly is not right for the job.
We have a very weak president, and he is so weak that it proves that even a dog catcher could have beaten Hillary because she was weaker than Trump.
John, you had your hand up. John had his hand up. Hold on a second.
You know, the point I'd like...
John had his hand up. Hold on. Yes.
The point I'd like to make is I think the presidency in this country is way overrated. I think we have an absolute idiot fool running the White House right now. And it's proof that there is an establishment, sometimes it's referred to as the deep state, whatever you want to call it, that is in place running things. Look at how Trump came in saying that he was going to try to normalize relations with Russia. Wow. His Pentagon staff and advisors just clamped down on that right away. The neoliberals still hanging out in Washington advanced this, let's hate Russia, you know, let's play tough with them. I think what we have to do if we're going to see any hope for this country to move in some kind of a sane direction is look at organizing sanity in a different way, apart from presidential politics. I'm a big believer in local politics. I think organizations, possibly corporate CEOs who have kind of a high-mindedness, and I would throw Elon Musk out in that regard, even though the guy's anti-union, he hates unions, but he's got a vision. He's got a vision for how to bring some kind of energy sanity to this country. And that's what I'm talking about. I think that if we're going to save this country, we have to look to other institutions to bring us out of this morass and forget presidential politics. Presidential politics is an idiotic joke nowadays. Just look at what it's become.
We've seen that the president is stifled. The president does not get to be a leader. If you get in a guy like Elon Musk who has ideas, his ideas don't necessarily translate to the Senate and the House doing anything and giving him legislation to sign. There is a complete shutdown.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Okay, we got so many hands up. Next, we go to Renee. Then we go to Rob. Then we go to Jeff. Okay, Renee.
Really quickly, we can't do it. Patrick's right. We can't do shit with Citizens United there. So unless we're going to get serious and get rid of Citizens United, we're just blowing smoke up our skirts.
Right. Now, Rob.
Phil,
I don't wear a skirt.
What do you mean? Phil made a question about, to be a leader. What is a leader? A dictator? Because the presidency is not absolute power. It seems to be with this whole Russian investigation that they can fire and do whatever to try to obstruct justice. But when it comes to policy, we have three branches of government. There is no absolute power. So what is a leader? A leader is somebody who has...
I was making the comment in relation to a guy like Musk.
But wait a minute. You have to be a politician. A guy like Musk, a guy like Trump run organizations. They're CEOs of organizations, and they say, this is what we're going to do. Now, my executive VPs to the VPs to all the managers and all that, you execute the plan. It doesn't work like that in a government like ours.
I'll tell you what you need. What you need. Let me say this. To begin with, the best person to be president is a guy who's been a governor. Because he's been running a government in microcosm. So when he goes to Washington, he knows he knows a little bit about economics. He knows a little bit about she knows.
It was George Bush.
So basically, they're paper
pushers.
But
wait a minute. But let me finish, and then we go to Jeff because Jeff's got his hand up. Though governors are a good choice. I think you're going to see running for president in a few years the former mayor of San Francisco. What's his name?
Newsom.
Kevin Newsom, will be a presidential candidate. He is a stealth candidate. He looks good. He sounds good. And he's even got a dirty.
He's slimy, man.
He's slimy and got a dirty background, so he's perfect for Washington. Yes, Jeff.
Well, the one that I was thinking as a candidate would be the guy who was the mayor of New York.
Bloomberg?
De Blasio?
Yeah. No.
Oh, not De Blasio. Heaven forbid De Blasio. Jeez, he can't even fix the fucking. He can't even fix the fucking potholes in this town.
Bloomberg. I would vote for Bloomberg in a heartbeat.
I'll tell you,
Bloomberg might be too intrusive. He doesn't want you to drink Coca-Cola.
He didn't want to do it.
Pop that you're drinking, Renee. He wouldn't allow that.
I'll tell you something.
He's self-made. He did it on its own. We can track it. We verified it. He's pushing forward in business. He's pushing forward internationally. He takes care of where he's at. These are all wonderful things.
I don't think he'll ever run for president. I'll tell you why. No. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. You know, he's got his forum. He's got a power base from which to wield certain ideas and ideals, and he can do it from there. He doesn't have to.
How many terms was he New York governor? I mean, New York mayor?
Three terms.
Too many times.
Yeah.
Actually, he violated the rules, but he changed the rules.
He changed the rules. But
okay, well,
and by the way, his third term was.
Hold
on a second. His third term was terrible. It was just terrible. And part of that is once you give a guy a third term, somehow they get a God complex. You know, and that's when he started wanting to do away with soft drinks and, you know, all these other things that he was pushing. But
I'm all for that, though. Not getting rid of them, but we should do more to inform people about what they're putting in their bodies.
That's correct. Yes, absolutely.
So you all heard that we've been lied to about sugar, right?
Yes.
So the sugar manufacturers and the cereal manufacturers got together in the 50s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and decided to lie to all of your children and all of us kids. We don't need.
You can always give them Ritalin.
Wait a minute. In all fairness,
what was that? Sugar.
In all fairness, sometimes we have a tendency to suddenly realize that something's bad that all along we thought was okay. You know, I think there was a point. I think there was a point where the tobacco people didn't think there was anything wrong with tobacco, and by the 50s we had certain unmitigated proof that things were happening. People started getting the cancers in the 50s, and so at that point the problem was the tobacco companies then started to go into denial. But prior to that, they didn't sit around saying, "Hey, let's give everybody cancer." You know.
Hey, I got one for you. You know that lady who was appointed head of the CDC, she had to resign because she bought all this stock in RJ Reynolds.
Yes.
Okay, you know, my son said the best thing. He said, you know what's sad about this is that she's still, you know, that she could have been in power. That, you know, what's unusual is that, you know, she resigned. She should have been, that's the norm now to have people like this stay in power no matter what they did. You have a rapist scumbag for the president, and you know Al Franken's down just for, you know, far lesser things, and here you have this scumbag who talks about grabbing pussies. He's raped had sex with a porn star. He probably raped somebody. You know, I mean, Jesus Christ.
There was no guy. There was no more perfect example of a man in power or a man empowered in business taking advantage of that with women than Trump. Okay? Yeah. I mean, we have several cases of that. If you want an argument about that, he along with Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey are the poster children for that particular thing.
He exposed
Matt Lauer is another good one.
And he exposed what was going on and was considered the norm, and he joked about it. And now it's come back to bite him a bit, but
it's come back to bite a lot of people, okay? Because
what he said was true.
Time's up, you know.
Yeah, but what he said was true.
What was true?
That he could do these things because of his celebrity.
Yeah, but he said that to a microphone when he didn't know it was on. Okay,
he said that he did them. He did those things. I can't control.
He was bragging.
How many times did he say, "I can't control myself"? I just go right up to him.
And I wonder if Weinstein did the same thing. Did he?
Weinstein was even crueler than Trump, because I don't think Trump tried to ruin anybody's career if they wouldn't sleep with him. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Weinstein, it was shown in one particular case, as soon as a woman turned him down, he called his friends in Hollywood and told them she's off the list. Don't hire her. Okay,
nasty, dirty. Oh,
yeah.
slimy.
Quite frankly, I think Weinstein is a worse predator than that doctor that they just got. Because Nassar. Because to begin with, I think the Weinstein numbers are even higher. Okay, and I think that what he did was more egregious than what Nassar did, even though what Nassar did is disgusting.
I don't know
what Nassar did. I hadn't heard everything, but I knew some of the accusations were over the fact that he didn't wear exam gloves when he was giving exams.
No, honey.
No? Okay.
No, he did a lot of really bad stuff. They wouldn't even put it on. They wouldn't even put it in the reports. It was
the penis. It was the penis therapy, I think, that they didn't like. Yes, some doctors do that. I knew a woman once who told me her doctor said that he had to put his penis in her because she was having problems with something, and that was the way to solve it. And I'm thinking, this is like 30, 40 years ago, okay? And I'm thinking, God, I never heard of that kind of medicine. I don't get that kind of medicine when I go to Kaiser.
You get a finger up the chute.
Yeah,
the wazoo, man.
Yes, Patrick.
So being sexually assaulted in a gym by the person who's supposed to be training you.
Oh, no, it's terrible. But I'm saying that I think Weinstein is maybe an inch worse than Nassar is. Okay? And Nassar has become the poster child.
No, he's not, because Nassar did it to children.
Yeah, you got a point. Okay, you get the point. Okay, you get the score on that one. Yes.
But hold on a second. You keep talking about all these men that their jobs, that their careers were ruined, and it's awful for them. Rose McGowan, we've kind of sort of heard of the Rose McGowan part of this for at least 15 years now.
Yeah.
Because I remember when she came out in Grindhouse, and there was a whole bunch of crap around the Grindhouse stuff that she was doing with.
Weinstein produced that film.
Yeah. And so there was a whole bunch of crap we were hearing about what was happening then. And then she cut her hair, and then she became really recluse, and then she wasn't doing hardly any Hollywood at all. And it's probably because what he did to her. He blacklisted her.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. Patrick, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I did want to say, Phil, part of the no gloves was part of it, but the worst of it, in my opinion, was Nassar going into the bedroom at night and doing exams and all of that sort of stuff without any consent from any of the... I mean, it's not like any of the girls were asking that something was wrong. He would show up in their bedrooms at night and examine them.
And say it was... And tell them it was an exam.
What's your question, Rob?
Right.
How did they let him get away with that?
Ask the Michigan people.
Yeah,
they're the ones who
did
it up.
That's why they
put it down.
Had to resign. Talk about fucked up and conspiracy and all whatever word you want to put to it. I can't remember anything more disgusting in recent memory.
Well, the Sandusky thing.
Yeah.
The Sandusky thing.
Sandusky thing was pretty egregious.
University did and all that.
Right. They hid his shit. And how many men were raped by him? And
I think it was men.
Did it too?
Well, we had that story last night that about Fox and how what's his name?
Vincente Fox?
No, the Fox TV. Fox News. How what's his name? Fuck you, Trump. What's his name? The creep. The fat creep. What's his name? The fat creep. Roger Ailes. They used to have a thing called. They used to have a thing at Fox called Trunk Week, and what Trunk Week was is that's when they brought in trunks of clothing, and all the women at Fox would be herded into this room where they would change into all these different outfits that were going to be the outfits that they were going to use for the next half a year. Okay. And so they would be in there taking their clothes off and putting these dresses on, and maybe even being naked and putting the dresses on just so they could get in and out of them faster. And Roger Ailes had a camera.
Fucker.
And sat there watching the whole thing.
Jerking off the entire time.
Now, my feeling was if they had simply slipped and put that on the air, it would be the biggest show in television news.
I want to know who's got that tape.
It probably is going to be the next big show on television.
Hey, is Larry Flint still alive? Remember, he was offering $1 million to any woman who had come forward with a scandalous story on any Republican in the House or the Senate. Yeah. And I don't know if Larry Flint's still alive, but we need people like that to offer big financial rewards. Man, you could bring down this whole stupid government in like a month if you doled out that kind of money.
Larry was is kind of a strange guy, but I was kind of proud to have him as my boss for about 7 years when I wrote for Hustler.
Wow.
I did a monthly column for Hustler, and people would say, "Oh, you do a column for Hustler?" And I go, "Yeah, they let me. I talk about politics, and it's everything else but sex. Maybe once in a great while I might do something on sex." I said, but I am very proud of it because I'm proud of the record that Flint has had in the area of human rights. You know, and this is not a guy who was particularly the brightest guy you ever met, and he wasn't, the sharpest person politically, but he did know what was wrong and what was right, and he also knew what affected him personally. You know, that's why he went out after Falwell, is because especially when his girlfriend died. He did not like what Falwell was doing, and he was willing to put the money behind taking that thing to the Supreme Court. Not to save his own ass, but to get Falwell and to change the law. And he did. And now you can parody.
He was in a wheelchair, wasn't he?
Huh?
Did he get shot?
Yeah, he got shot. Yeah. Yes, Ray's got his hand up.
Falwell, Larry Flint's still alive. He's like in his mid-70s, I think.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because I'm familiar with this play that I had something to do with. It's called In the Next Room, or the Vibrator play. And in the late 19th century, women who were of money, whose husbands were not satisfying them, would go to the doctor and they would use a vibrator on the woman to cure, quote-unquote, hysteria. And
you mean the doctor got to get it? Oh, fine.
Yes.
Yeah, but the woman, she would go in to get her hysteria cured, knowing what was going to happen, and then they would it could be like going to the chiropractor. You come in every week, and your hysteria would be taken care of by the doctor.
You get that with the Bronze Obama plan, do you?
Jeff, you had your hand up a while ago. Did I go to you? I'm losing track here. Did I go to you, Jeff?
Get on that.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. I want to make sure that I didn't.
Hey, talking about going to the chiropractors, I have to thank Ray Renati. He recommended I have had terrible pain, especially since I fell off the motorcycle, and it's been radiating over my head. I haven't been able to sleep.
That's your halo falling.
Yeah, really. Ray recommended a cervical chiropractor for me. I met with him today, and I tell you, this guy was so thorough. He was excellent. Now, Alex, because of the pain that I'm having, I know that you don't want to visit with a chiropractor.
Well, I'm thinking about it now because of the numb feet and the fact that it's probably a spinal thing. You know.
Yeah, I'm this guy was so thorough. He saw exactly what was going on. More thorough than I've ever had a chiropractic thing before. And but I got to thank Ray, and Ray used somebody very similar, except in a different town. This one was recommended by his neuropath.
So, Alex, you need to go to an upper cervical chiropractor. It's a completely different thing.
But I think it's probably down in my lower back is where I think it's originating from. It doesn't go to my legs. It goes to my feet, and my feet get numb. Yeah.
Well, Ray was a boxer. Is that it? And he got hit, and he had terrible neck pain also. And
somebody with no back pain at all has his hand up. Yes, Patrick.
Alec, can I just humbly recommend that maybe you consider paralysis? Didn't you want to have
work for Larry Flint too?
Well, if paralysis is an option, you know, I mean, you've done pretty well with it, you know.
What I mean, it's an option that I chose. So,
but because right now, whenever I complain about things, my wife goes, "Don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear about it. You won't go to a doctor. You won't do anything about it. I don't want to hear about it." If I get paralyzed, I go, "But I'm paralyzed. I can't go. You have to take me." You know. Yes, Ray.
Hey, Alex, I'm pretty sure I heard you complaining about your sciatic thing like 20 years ago.
No,
Am I right?
no. Those were other complaints. I've always had something going.
He has a new version.
Okay.
You know, when I listened to that 1999 show of his, the complaints were the same as what he does today.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you guys remember when Alex burned his Winky and we got to hear about it on radio?
Oh,
yeah.
No, they don't know that story. They don't know that story.
How do you not know he barbecued it?
Okay. This is gonna be the most revealing story I've ever told on the air, and I can tell it in a way. I burned the tip of my penis. Now let me explain how I burned it. I was making ribs in the oven. Okay.
In the nude.
And wait a minute. And then I was in the bedroom, and since I had nothing better to do, and when a guy is alone and he has nothing else to do, he jerks off. So I started jerking off, and I got an erection, but then I realized I had to go take care of the ribs. So I went into the kitchen, and I pulled the rack out, and it touched my erect penis.
That's called secret sauce.
And I immediately said to myself, I think I just fucked myself up. And I put ice on it when I should have put butter on it, I think.
No, ice.
I put butter on it. So basically, you know, I turned it into a fried weenie. And so now I've got this thing, and it wasn't that bad that day, but by the next day it got worse and worse, and finally it was like, here was the problem. That part of your body has a hard time healing because it's in a moist place. And so, you know, you have your legs crossed, you have your pants on, and it doesn't have, you should be able to run around naked for 3 weeks until it clears up, right? But you can't do that. So I just had to bear it as it was trying to heal. And then I would be sleeping on my stomach, and then I would turn around, and it had adhered itself to the sheets. And so whatever scab I had, are you ready for this, folks? Whatever scab I had would get ripped off, and I'd be bleeding like a stuck pig. And so I had to finally, you couldn't put a Band-Aid on it. You know, it was in a place you just had to wait for it to finally take care of itself.
What did you do? Tell the girls you had AIDS?
No, it was terrible.
So this is being recorded, and this broadcast.
Yes, and this is now
it's
history.
Going to be on YouTube forever.
But that's how I got a permanent scar on the end of my penis. However, as the years went on, it started fading, and it was rather attractive. It was kind of like, you know, you remember where you've been. What?
I went to one of those Chinese herbologist doctors, and you said, "What am I going to do?" He says, "Oh, don't worry about it. In 2 weeks, it'll fall off by itself."
Yeah, right. No, but the thing was that I couldn't have sex for a month, maybe, and it was pretty difficult to jerk off. I had to do it with tweezers or something, you know. So
and we all got to that.
It was horrible, and I was in my sexual prime. Okay, I had a radio show. Women were throwing themselves at me, and here I am with a penis that is out of commission. So that's a story I've never told as completely as I've just told it, because I never could tell it this way on the radio.
Unless you were on Sirius like Howard Stern or something.
I know how you could have beaten off. You just take a hot dog bun and then put a little bit of barbecue sauce on it, and
it was
the right answer.
And I can't even remember if I ate the ribs. But people would say, "How did you do it?" And I wouldn't tell the story of how I did it because it was so stupid, you know.
No, tell the story because you couldn't use those
because
words.
part of the thing you have to know is that I had an erection at the time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have burned it. You know?
Yeah.
There's some stuff he's left out in the original story when he told it because he couldn't say those things on the air.
Yeah.
So he denied it all.
Then,
oh yeah, I was barbecuing. No, nothing happened bad. No.
No, I talked about the fact that I had burnt my thing.
Wee, I think Tony would call it.
Wee.
It was hilarious. It was like a month's worth of listening to poor X and his penis problems.
Yeah, and then constant jokes from the comics, you know.
Yes, that would be good.
But I think it was a tribute to me that I still went to work every day with a burnt penis. I think that's certainly, says, doesn't that speak?
The show must go on.
Doesn't that speak volumes, Rob?
Absolutely. It's the total professional thing to do.
Yes. And you're sitting. That's not comfortable when you've got a burnt penis.
How do you, what did you do? Like, when you walk, right? And it's moving around in your underwear and stuff. That must have just been.
Oh, it's when it wasn't moving around in your underwear and then it adhered itself to your underwear and then you had to rip it off. Okay.
Well, I got a phone
what I
call
finally
today.
did, I always carried a can of Solar Cane with me. Right?
March 19th is my date. They're gonna rip out my prostate on March 19th. So I said, how long am I going to be out of work? And they said, well, you'll have a catheter for 10 to 14 days. So I said, can I walk around with a catheter? And they said, well, it depends on how much pain you can take. I said, well, just give me drugs and I'll be okay. So I'm going to get one of those desks that raise up because I won't be able to sit down. So the desk. Will raise up with you.
But you won't have to go off to pee. You can just run it out the door. And,
they give you take breaks.
Huh?
You don't have to take breaks to go pee.
Yeah, that's right. You know how much time I'm going to save?
Yeah, and Patrick can give you tips.
Yeah, and based on the weight of my prostate, I'm going to lose weight.
By the way, Forbin, who is our biggest chatter guy here, he's the guy who talked me into doing YouTube. Said, and ever since Alex checks into hotels as Dick Burns. Anyway, let me see here. First of all,
since your first name's really Ben, your last
quickly,
name
Patrick, and then Ray.
So make sure that you do have some sort of a weight distribution. I mean, even though the only time I've ever had catheters with the bag is after surgery.
Yeah.
It's still, there's a weight to it, and it can, not painful for me, but it would for you. So,
don't they strap it to your leg?
Yeah, you can get one where you strap it to the leg, but strap it to your thigh.
Yeah.
You're going to put it up higher.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and then just be careful so you don't bump against something.
Yeah.
The bottom
warm, fuzzy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've opened mine up. I was in the bathroom, and I accidentally opened it up. That was after my last surgery. Yeah. I had piss all over the floor. So that was fun cleaning up, too. So.
Yeah.
Who's cleaning my mouse out of the house?
What?
What's the date?
March 19th.
Wait a minute. Okay. Let me see.
Okay, we'll do some.
Then you'll know it's safe to come on Gabnet because I'll be incapacitated.
Alex, I've always thought that if you injure your penis or something, that you should be able to walk around with it hanging out your pants, like your zipper.
Yeah.
It should be just like a societal norm that like guys are allowed to do that. What?
Somewhere I'm still getting audio.
No, just so you could keep it aired out and.
Nope.
Hey, remember there was a Black Panther guy who designed cleathes, and he had like a penis part of the clothes. Who was that guy? It wasn't Stokely Carmichael. Eldridge Cleaver, right?
Cleaver, yeah.
He had the little codpiece thing, sticking out of the pants or something.
Oh, talking about Eldridge Cleaver, he lived in Cuba, and who just committed suicide is
Castro's son. Yeah.
Son. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, he suffered from depression.
Yeah. Well, you would be too if you were married, if you were the son of Fidel Castro. Hey, listen, we've run out of time. I've run even over a little bit. This has been marvelous because the number of people watching has been extraordinarily high. In fact, it's the highest. We got to a level that's the highest it's ever been with one of our video shows. So, you know, I thank you all for being part of that and making it interesting enough that people want to watch this thing. I think YouTube's working out very nicely. Thank you very much, Jeff. We appreciate your participation tonight. Phil Meyer, thank you. Thank you, Renee Collins from Hawaii, and thank God also for that sunset. Rob Alfano, always a pleasure. Scott, you didn't say much tonight, but you never do when we have a ton of people. Ray Renati, we love your participation. Patrick, you're always a thrill to have on. And John, anytime. You're bright, you're smart, and I think everybody should give a big wave goodbye to the audience out there. As we fade off into our own broadcast sunset. Bye, guys and gals. Okay. That's it for tonight. Let me just turn off the Skype so that the next show can use it. Okay, that's it. There we go. We're in good shape. I think that's about it. That's all she wrote. Jack and Amy are next with The Intersection. After that is Connections at 1 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Time. These are all Eastern Times. Tomorrow night at 9:30, it's The Exchange with Damian Chaplin. I'm Alex Bennett. I'll see you tomorrow night at 10, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you happen to see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye.